Taking your shoes off, I answered, and he held me from my shoulder to make me sit in the bed. You're my wife, not servant. You're not allowed to touch my feet, he said, and I smiled at his concern. But it's not a big deal. I like it, I said, but he shook his head and removed his shoes by himself. On the next second, he placed his head in my lap while laying in the bed. My eyes were blinded. He looked up in my eyes. Never touch my feet again, he said, while his fingers were held a long stand on my hair, hanging on my shoulder. For romance, you can run your finger in my hair. I'm so tired, he said, and making me smile with happiness. His eyes were closed down as he folded his arm on his chest. Slowly, I touched his hair. Slowly and slightly, I started running my fingers in his hair. It feels so good. I kept running my finger in his hair and I saw him relax. Jungkook, I called him. He answered. You fresh up and have your dinner, I said, and he opened his eyes. Okay, he said and got up. I stood up, but he blocked my way. I looked at him and confused. I saw him taking his skirt off. My shirt's buttoned, he said, and I looked down at his shirts. Open them, he said, and my eyes were winded. But you said only to button up in the morning, I reminded him. Really? Did I? He asked and I nodded. He pulled me to him, making me collide with his chest. My heart beat was faster on his closeness. He wrapped his arms around me and my waist, while within that other hand was held me and took it to the upper button of his shirt. Jungkook, I said shyly. My body was shivering and my cheeks were heated up, and I know my face would be red as carrot. I'm waiting, he whispered. With trembling hands, I started unbuttoning his shirt. I felt so shy. His breath was touching my forehead, and my heart was tingled on what I was doing. Thank you, he said and kissed my forehead. He left me, and then I go downstairs, taking a deep breath while putting my hand on my heart. I smiled looking at the door of the washroom and then rushed out of the room to take the dinner. I warmed up the meal and served it in a tray. Taking it in my hand, I walked back to our room. As I stepped in, I saw him coming out of the bathroom. Dinner, I said and placed the meal on the center table. I saw him going to the door and look at. My heart was jumped with the shyness in the way he was looking at me. Silently, he took a seat and I sat next to him. I served him his meal and I took my plate to serve myself. You didn't have your dinner, he asked, and I shook my head as no. Why? He asked while turning to me. I was waiting for you, I simply said. Thank you. He said we both will start having our dinner at 1 of the night. As I finished our dinner, I placed a bowl of sweet in front of him. He looked at the bowl and then at me. He excitedly started eating it. I made it, I said, and he stopped eating. He looked at me and then toward the bowl. I got nervous. Did he like it? You made this, he asked, and I nodded. Is it bad? I asked and placed the bowl on my hand. Taste it, he said, and I took a spoon to taste the dish. I looked down where he held my hand in his and brought it to his mouth to eat by my hand. When will you understand? He winked, and I shy smiled. He finished eating, and I took all that dishes. I went down to the kitchen and placed them into the kitchen. I turned off all the lights and went back to the room. As I stepped in, I closed the door and locked it. As I turned, I saw him laying in the bed. His eyes were closed and just keep watching him, still in my peace. I was so lost in looking at him. Enough of gazing at me, he said, and I jump at my place. He opened his eyes and smirk on his face. I look down immediately with a beating heart. Theon, he called me and I look up at him. Your pillow is beating, he said while placing his left arm on the side, making me blush. Come, he said, and I hesitantly walked to the bed. As I sat in the bed and looked at his arm, which was spread for me, with a beating heart, I lay down and put my hand in his arm while turning to him. As I did, he pulled me closer and hugged me while wrapping his arm around me. I smiled, hugging him back, and closed my eyes. I'm loving this romance type of thing. He whispered in my ear. Me too. I want to say, but I whisper in my heart, and I keep my eyes were closed and down into the best dream in which he would be with me. The whole John family was on the breakfast table, having their breakfast. Jungkook was looking at his brother Jimin to find his happiness on his face. A small smile appeared on his face, telling him that he was happy. Namjoon and Jeho were, as usual, arguing on something. Jungkook, please try to be at home today, Mahak said, and I looked at Jungkook. I'll try, Mom, but I have to go for a very important meeting, Jungkook said, and Mahak nodded. Only 2 days were left for the engagement, and all the preparations were done, but the shopping was not ending. Oppa, please take us today on shopping, you said suddenly. Yes, please, Jimin also said with a smile. Okay, let me finish my work first, then I'll come and we'll go for shopping, he said as he turned to see Theon, who smiled a little. I'm going to get ready, he whispered a little while leaning toward Theon. Theon started and turned to look at him, who winked at they, and he turned to see everyone who was busy in themselves. I'm going to get ready, he said, and again while looking at his mother. Mahek nodded and Jungkook left while Theon felt himself in trouble. They know why he said it to him. He must be waiting for him to open his shirt. They look around to hide his family and slowly try to get up. They listen. You pulled him back at the chair. Listen, what I'm saying. Why don't we all expect you? Make a dress code. What I mean is, it looked great. You said, and Jimin nodded with a smile, and you got excited. But Theon guys were on the stair. He wanted to get up, as you know he must be waiting for him. And this girl were not letting him go. What will you say, they? You asked Theon. Huh? Anything. His heart was increasing with every passing second. He looked down, and his hand, where you was holding him,